So Renee, I think one of the really interesting things about you and about your role within the Michigan Conference is that simultaneously you serve as a local church pastor in Imlay City, and then you also serve as the area minister on the east side of Michigan. And so what I'm really curious about is, how do those two things inform each other? Do they help you be a better local church pastor and also a better conference staffer because you have this unique vantage point?
Oh, wow. Well, what I've learned is that there is a whole lot to what happens within the full context of ministry than what we typically think of. I've certainly learned a lot more about the conference role, not only within our conference here in Michigan, but also in the larger church, a really important role. I have the ability to work with our associations, I work with our committees on ministry, work with churches that are searching for new leadership, and so it's very, very engaging. On the other hand, I am also very in tune with what is the typical life of a church pastor. I have to deal with a lot of the same challenges, and so it helps me to understand the challenges that our pastors are dealing with, but also to celebrate in ways that I might not be able to solely as a pastor, but I have this wonderful expectation to participate in the celebrations that happen in our churches, where, particularly when someone is being ordained or when a pastor is being installed. I get to be there and to share in that. I also have the envy of some of my colleagues because I get to preach on Easter Sunday. I get to preach Good Friday services and things like that, which in our conference role we don't get to do a lot because everybody wants their own minister to be there for those special times. So I get some of the best of both situations. Nicole, you have such an interesting life. I would love for you to just share a little bit about what it's like for you being the Southwest area minister for our conference here in Michigan, but also to let people know that you are also a minister with Extravagance United Church of Christ, which is an online faith community. Can you just tell us how that works together?
Yeah. It's fascinating, actually. I would actually say that the online church work really grew out of my work as a conference staffer, because in my work before I came to Michigan in Iowa, I just experimented a lot with online platforms as a way of building relationships, a way of getting information and resources out to the folks I served. And so because I experimented with that, I became someone who knew something about using digital media. And so the connection then when the national setting of the church decided that creating Extravagance UCC was a priority, then my gifts then lent itself really well to doing that. It's fascinating how the two do inform each other. Doing Extravagance UCC, I think, gives me a little bit of an experience of what it's like to be a local church pastor, although in a very different way. And it certainly gives me the experience of doing a new church start, which is a whole different thing, I think, than being a local church pastor of an existing congregation, which is a different sort of art form, I think. So it feels like a playground most of the time to be doing a new church start, particularly one online, because we're constantly innovating and evaluating and deciding if it meets the goals that we're trying to meet. And so I get to practice some of those things that I actually preach as a conference staffer about how to do effective organizational development and starting your church. So that's what's really fun and exciting about those two roles and how they work together.
Wow, sounds great. Thank you.